Hello everyone, it's Triple Z Hacker here, and we are back with the Shogunate Total War Tournament 2020. Today I have a great match to provide some analysis and commentary on for you guys, but before we get into the actual battle, be sure to subscribe to check out the rest of the tournament coverage on my channel, as well as tons of other Shogun 2 videos. Also check the links in the description to subscribe to Smother Jones' YouTube channel, who will also be covering the tournament. Now without further ado, let us begin with the first battle. Welcome to the first battle of this losers round 1 match between the Anegakoji, played by TH, and between the Mogami, played by Punished Nigel. So we are on the map Kanto Plains, which has been featured quite a bit in the tournament. There are 2 key buildings. We have the Shrine and the Sword Dojo, both of which are the 2 best in my opinion for multiplayer and for this tournament. So I expect both players to be contesting these buildings, and it'll be curious to see who takes them. Now, let us review the Mogami army composition. So as you can see, based off the graphic, we have 8 Yari Samurai, 4 Bow Samurai, and then we have some Yari Cav and Light Cav. This army composition would be considered a hammer and anvil styled army, meaning that the Yari Samurai, the front line of spears, would be the anvil, and the Cav would be the hammer. So the front line of spears would defend against the opposing infantry, try to hold as long as they can. The cav then circles around and tries to flank and basically hammer into the anvil and crush the opposing infantry. Now the bows add a bit of, skirmishing capabilities. 4 bow samurai is a little bit too much, and I also think some naginatas and swords here would be better than just all Yari Samurai. That being said, the Yari Samurai do have rapid advance, so it depends on how they're used, but they could establish map control really early by taking the key buildings. So it's going to be interesting to see how Punished Nigel uses this army. Now let's go over here to TH and the Anegakoji. So this army composition based off the graphic is really interesting in that there's, of course, a ton of elite units. You got the Nodachis, you got some monks, Naginata Samurai, you even got 4 Yari Cav. But the main feature, of course, being those fire rockets and upgraded fire rockets at that. So they're really expensive, but this army is lacking in terms of unit size and total numbers. But in terms of, the quality of troops, they're excellent. So it's going to be really interesting to see how all these bows, the 3 bow samurai and the fire rockets, work together to sort of overpower the other 4 bow samurai. I mean, the fire rockets certainly will be interesting for anti-cav, and since Punished Nigel has a lot of cav, I think TH could really use those fire rockets effectively in this first battle. But anyways, let's see how it all unfolds and get this underway. We'll speed things up for the beginning, that way we can see sort of the opening moves for the players and get into the action quicker. So immediately right off the bat, TH is advancing sort of this fixed formation here with the Naginata's swords and then bows in the back with the cav going on both sides. I think the bows, though, in the back right here is a mistake. I would put the bows up in the front just so you can maybe get a few volleys off, maybe bait the Mogami cav to charge in. Here we can see the Mogami advancing a little less quickly, but still steadily along. I think using rapid advance here would be really good, though, to establish the front line between the 2 key buildings here. Like, just have a row of spears there. That would be an excellent choice. Also, really don't use wedge formation for your cav. It's not the best thing to use in multiplayer and Shogun 2 in general. I don't really think it has any practical abilities. Also, I don't like the general being in the main, combat here. The Anegakoji Yari cav could certainly maybe charge and kill the general. And it's dangerous to put your general at risk like this, per se. Now, let's see, we got a fire rocket volley over here. Ooh, just missed the mark barely. And it looks like we're going to have some cav engagements here. We got 1 Mogami Yari cav versus 2 Yari cav. And here you can see the other Mogami cav rushing over to assist. And this is a really good job by Punished Nigel here of just having 1 cav unit take on 2 and then sending the rest of the cav in after. It's going to crush the Anegakoji cav. At the same time, TH, though, is trying to separate the Mogami cav from the infantry, which I think is really good, but now the Mogami can flank here. And this is the thing, right? You have all this cav over here. Just send it in. Like, send it into these bows right here. All these bows are left unprotected. Bring this Yari cav over here right into the bows. I mean, there's no need really to start moving any of this cav over here. Just move this cav back and send this cav in and sort of start harassing. You're going to pull away spears and melee units from this front line. So just send this cav over here to charge into the bows. Even if you don't do the charge, it's still enough to distract your opponent and force your opponent to micro more. At the same time, with all these spears here, this is excellent moving them up to the key buildings. Just keep them right at the key buildings. Capture the sword dojo, capture the shrine here. Let's see what Punished Nigel does. But full advantage to the Mogami right now in this situation. I mean, even the Anegakoji cav over here is breaking. You can see the general right here, though, almost getting general sniped by some fire rockets. So you got to be really careful with this general. And also charging this general in right next to some Yari Samurai. Not the best decision either. But yeah, right here, the Yari Samurai supporting is really good. And this is, I think, not good. No need to advance here as the Mogami. Bring your bows up and just start shooting away at the infantry. And then, yeah, send your cav in like this. But no need to bring the infantry up. The infantry doesn't even need to get into the fight right now. There's no need to capture the 2 key buildings. Okay, so right here, you got all 4 cav units being held down by Yari Samurai. And the general as well. Right in the mix of it. So get all these cav units out now. And yeah, you're charging these bows right here. This is a bad charge angle. This is why wedge is really tricky, because it's already a bad charge angle. And this cav unit didn't really do anything. Now for the infantry fight over here, there's a lot going on in this battle, but this infantry fight over here is going okay for the Mogami, but not really. You can see the Naginatas are going to beat the Yaris. Like, these Yari Samurai don't really need to get involved in the fight. They just need to stay back. There's no need to charge in. Like, these 2 are already outnumbered by dodges. I mean, they got to the fire rockets, which is good, but again, these 2 Naginata units held 4 Yari Samurai, and the general's all the way over here, somewhat routed, whereas, they can't rally the troops. TH has the advantage now in this battle because the general is so far away, so there's not the morale, like, aura or, the area around the general that boosts morale. And as you can see now, the Anegakoji have the advantage, so much so because all this infantry and all these troops are concentrated in the center. These bows back here are helping, but not enough. All the cav is not able to beat these bows back here. And the reason is that Punished Nigel needs to cycle charge with his cav. So that's when you charge cav into the bows and then immediately pull them out, click away, and then charge again. That's how you beat, bow samurai with light cav. And even then, it's tricky. So you've been better off charging into the swords or over here towards the general even. It wasn't advantageous to stay, going after the bows here. But yeah, this is an example of having all the superiority and just mistiming some of your attacks. And really, again, just keeping, the shrine and the sword dojo and capturing those would have made a huge advantage for these Yari Samurai. They would have had increased morale and melee attack and charge, which would have been beneficial. Plus, the cav would have had better melee attack and charge, which had a lot of and already had cav superiority. So, again, it's just more of you may have the advantage in the battle, but it's about your decisions that you make and sort of, it's a lot about timing your attacks well and knowing what to do in which moment, in which situation. As you can see at the end here, we got all these Nodachis and Katanas charging into these Yaris, even a mixture of Naginatas here, and the Anegakoji infantry are just going to overwhelm these missile units. And, I mean, again, by the time, support arrives, the general, all the way over here, it's far too late. It's far too late for the Mogami and Punished Nigel. And even again, just, the concentrated force and the elite, Nodachis and swords are going to beat Yari Samurai. So Yari Samurai, like, spears don't do well against swords. And so having those Nodachis there was pretty pivotal. And good job on TH for winning this first battle. Now let's go into the second battle of this match. The second battle of this match is on the map Ehaime Gorge, and I do apologize, my Japanese pronunciations are not the best. Anyways, so this map has been featured in a tournament match before that I've covered on my channel. Once again, terrain is going to be a crucial factor for both the players to deal with, and we got 3 key buildings. So we have on this side the farmhouse, in the center we have the archery dojo right there, and on the far side, the shrine. Now, for both the players, I think the shrine is the most important building on this map, but at the same time, the archery dojo will be beneficial to both since they love bringing bows, and particularly TH if he brings fire rockets once again for this battle. But let's go over the army composition, starting with the Mogami. And as you can see, based off of the graphic, we have once again a very similar army composition for Punished Nigel. The only change is, of course, the 2 Naginata Samurai and a little bit less Cav, which I think is going to help secure the front line and possibly help quite a bit for this army. I still don't like the lack of swords, though. That's my one complaint about this army composition. Now let's go over here to TH. So once again, a very similar army. And as you can see, the elite fire rockets, very expensive unit. I personally don't like bringing them quite a bit, but they can be like really good when used effectively. But you really really have to know how to use them. At the same time, there's still the Nodachis, the Naginatas. You got an extra Yari Samurai in replace of a Cav unit, but you still have 3 Yari Cav, so it's still a relatively balanced and I think good army composition. So it'll be interesting to see what happens for this second battle, but let's get things underway. We'll speed things up, of course, just to see the players' opening moves. So right off the bat, we got all these Yari Samurai here rushing up this hill, and we'll slow things down so it makes sense. Kind of just lightly jogging up this hill. I mean, look at that. Look at this climb they have to deal with. It's insane. So they're going to be really fatigued after running all the way up there. And of course, the Anegakoji also have a very similar run that they have to make to get over to these key buildings. But as you can see, you got the archery dojo, and I think TH is right to go for the archery dojo with the fire rockets, especially. You got some Cav, running over in these woods over here on this far left flank. And you got more Cav all the way over here on this side, but now they're retreating back because the Mogami are kind of sending their Cav out to the flanks as well. We'll speed things up just a little bit. But yeah, really here, I think the Anegakoji need to go capture the shrine and the archery dojo. But hopefully the Mogami are able to secure the farmhouse really quickly and then contest the archery dojo, and maybe just like this Cav over here is sort of defending the shrine, if that makes any sense. Sometimes you want to send units over onto a side to prevent your opponent from sending units to a key building. But you could technically, with the Mogami, could capture with the light Cav the shrine. Let's see, got the first fire rocket volley. Ooh, not too damaging and going after infantry, so don't really think that was a good shot. But, still it looks like right now that the Mogami have the high ground in this sort of scenario. So maybe the Anegakoji could retreat back to this side of the dojo. But it looks like TH is not backing down and going to send some Naginata warrior monks and Yari samurai sort of as a front line over here. But you can see the Mogami infantry is really fatigued, like very tired after running all that way. You got all this Cav over here once again, so just sort of a standstill. You can see more Cav going on this side. They got the high ground, so if you just charge down to that Cav, it's going to be devastating. You can see another fire rocket volley just into the woods over here. Kind of missed it briefly, but, not really too damaging. You can see, oh, wow, Cav right into those fire rockets, it looks like. Oh, my God. You got to protect those fire rockets. They're so expensive. You don't want to lose them this early in the fight. That was really good Cav micro right there by the Mogami. I'm really unfortunately missed it, but you can see they moved the Cav over this way and just charged right through that gap. So, and of course, this is also a really great downhill charge over here too, with the 2 light Cav into the Yari Cav, and then pulling away just in time. Of course, you got some Yari Samurai fighting Yari Samurai here, and that's just a unit that the Anegakoji are going to lose. There's really no need to send the Yari Samurai up there to fight. They're going to die. They don't have the high grounds, and also these 2 units are just going to beat it. Meantime, you got, some Yari Cav over here, and the general kind of against 1 light Cav here, so I get that light Cav out and maybe bring the other Cav over to assist. Of course, you got Yari Cav rushing up. Nowhere really for them to go because there's just a bunch of spears there. So maybe just flank around. Are they going to get caught? No. Okay, good Cav micro there by the Anegakoji. At the same time, I think Punished Nigel could just, charge down. I mean, no one has the farmhouse, and the archery dojo is controlled by the Anegakoji, though. So Punished Nigel really needs to capture key buildings more often with units, but See the bonsais going off, and these 3 units are charging into about 4, but they could get overwhelmed here. This is where you send like the light cav right through this gap and charge and just hit. I mean, you have all those cav units on this backside fighting one cav unit. It really isn't necessary. Just send them like this way to hit maybe the bows, or definitely just to flank here. And yeah, this is really good to send the Yaris. Like, send this unit around. Flanking with infantry is really great in this game, and frankly, in any Total War game, very effective. You can see, oh, just look at this crazy melee. The monks trying to hold out. You got some Naginatas, or no, the Yari unit rushing away, and there's the Cav in the flank. Yeah, this is the hammer and anvil that I was talking about, that Punished Nigel really needed to take advantage of. You got the hammer on this right side and the anvil on the left side, and you got all the infantry trapped in the middle. And so again, it's just a bloodbath on this hill. And yeah, the Mogami had the high ground, although it is kind of even ground over here, though. It's not so much of a steep incline. I mean, the Mogami can take the like true high ground here, though. So yeah, you got more Naginatas in the front line fighting other Naginatas. And yeah, all this cav is going to make a huge difference, because now the Anegakoji, all they have left is some bows. And just sending repeated charges here is not going to do the trick. There's no need to assault all these spears entrenched on this hill line, so to speak. And even like the Yari Cav here, just going to go straight into Yari Samurai. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And TH right here, it's a poor decision to charge this like defensive position here. Better to just reposition over on this side, maybe, you know, shoot some volleys, get the fire rockets, maybe to force the Mogami off that hillside. But yeah, just again, I don't really think this was a poor attack by TH here. I think Punished Nigel is definitely defending well. With all this cav here, you know, you can send them this way into these bows, bring your bows up, and just like it's kind of a foregone conclusion that I think the Mogami are going to take this one. Let's see the general and stand and fight, though. The Anegakoji are still going to bravely fight on, and they're going to fight to the last. But it's up to the Mogami now to send in the reserves here and just crush the Anegakoji on this hillside right now, and maybe even the cav around here too. And I mean, the cav to even hit these bows and all these missile units that are left unprotected here. But yeah, let's go back right into the thick of the fighting. So you got Nodachis here fighting the general, and it looks like, oh no, Nodachis retreating, and then Naginatas, yeah, because the Mogami didn't bring any Nodachis. Yeah, you had the Nodachis here rushing over on this side to support that flank. Now the general's fighting some Naginatas, though. It's going to be tough fighting here, but the general could hold out for quite a bit and stand and fight. Especially against Naginatas. Naginatas aren't really known for their offensive prowess. Got volleys of arrows flying through here, and all these archers, like, all these bow samurai here should just be firing at the general and stand and fight. And even all this cav should just rush over and finish the job and just charge into these bows. Like, there's nothing defending them. So I think Punished Nigel there just needs to be more assertive and aggressive and just send the cav in and finish the fight. Of course, now the general himself is in combat. You can see all the troops running on either side, and it looks like the Mogami are just going to be rushing down this hillside, hopefully at any moment. But again, the general is still holding out, still alive. Of course, most of the bodyguard, though, is not, but still the daimyo is still fighting on right here. His men are like sort of dying around him. And the shameful displays are being called out right now. The shameful displays. The shame for display here. The general is now retreating. Isn't even dead yet. Oh, there we go. The general's been injured, and there you have it. Finally, the Mogami and Punished Nigel are able to secure victory there. So a great second battle, and yeah, TH just a couple of poor decisions with attacking such a defensive position, and really I think take advantage of those fire rockets and the skirmishing capabilities of the bow samurai a bit more. Overall, though, a good battle. Let's get now into the third and final battle of this match. For the third and final battle of this match, we are on the map Shugoku River, and this is a pivotal battle because the clans here are fighting for their tournament lives. The winner of this match will advance on to losers round 2, and the loser will be eliminated from the tournament. So let us go over the key buildings real briefly. We have 3 of them. There's the workshop, farmhouse, and the sword dojo. The workshop and sword dojo are the better 2, but the farmhouse certainly is beneficial. For the army compositions, we'll start with the Mogami. So here it's a very similar army, nearly identical from the last battle. You have the two Naginatas, you have the Yaris, you have the four bows, you also have the light and Yari Cav. So a very similar strategy here for Punished Nigel. Use the front line defensively, have the bows to skirmish, use the Cav to harass, and maybe hammer an anvil. Now let's go over here to the Anegakoji, and this army composition is completely different from what we've seen in the prior battle. There's no longer the expensive fire rockets. What you instead have is 3 light cav, and you have 6 bows. So this is like a missile corps, but defending the bows, you have a ton of infantry. So it's going to be really interesting, but TH's main goal here is probably going to be to skirmish. Anyways, it should be a fun battle. Let's get this underway. Of course, we'll speed things up right at the start, as always, just to see the opening, movement. And there you got all these spears advancing here for the Mogami. I really like the choice of just advancing straight away. I think, though, going for the Sword Dojo would be better. And, of course, you got the Cav, the light Cav for the Mogami, the Anegakoji flanking out, and, of course, the Mogami as well. The general with the Cav, I still don't like this decision. Hopefully Punish Nigel, if you play more multiplayer, I would refrain from using the general so in such a vulnerable way. And let's see. Capturing the farmhouse here is really good. Of course, having all these calves in this woods here is good. Maybe bringing up maybe some bows over here, but still they're not really going to be able to get a good angle shooting wise, into the trees there. So probably just better to send some Yaris over instead to protect that flank. Once again, I think Punish Nigel here could establish map control with the Cav by just sending Cav over to each of the buildings, dismounting them, and having them capture it, and then having all these units here. At the same time, though, TH could certainly just rush all this infantry over and try to fight through all these spears. But you got the bows here, fire arrows, but once again, there's not really much of a good angle to shoot. And all those arrows missed because the trees just protect the units from missile fire. So now we have a standstill pretty much at the center of the map. We can zoom in and see some of these arrows flying towards the general to no avail. And look at this front line of Yaris here. Just so much Yari and Naginata Samurai here. So they are capturing the farmhouse technically, because you can see the little circle here. Let's see, we got a Cav charge on this side. Are they charging into some bows? Yep, this is a really good Cav charge over the hill. Oh, man, brutal. Of course, having the other Cav units behind isn't really the best thing. You want to spread your Cav out a little bit more wider. And also, charging into this light Cav here would have also been pretty devastating. Now, TH has to react here, though. Yep, sending the Yaris over. Maybe you have to send the Cav over. But even then, it's a little too late at this point. It's a little too late at this point. You're better cutting your losses. You don't want to lose this light Cav. That's definitely really good by the Mogami there. Really, really good job by Punish Nigel to charge right there with that Cav. And yeah, still at a standstill, pretty much. Yeah, this is really good to pull away because you don't really want to fight any of those Yaris. But if you could charge again here, maybe not in wedge formation, but certainly charge again. The general's kind of lost a few men, though, to these bows here. So, yeah, you can see. Ooh, another one as well. Charging into was the light Cav. Not the best decision. The wedge just makes, you bunch up even more. This is the time when all these Yaris need to come over here and, TH could kill the general, which would definitely devastate the chances of the Mogami from winning, or lessen their chances from winning quite a lot. Be a devastating blow for them. Again, they all pull back. All right, this is fine. I mean, taking out the light Cav unit was fine, but really should have gone for the missile units. This Cav over here also needs to do something, kind of sweep around here, threaten the flank a bit more. And good on TH for setting up the bows here to start shooting. I mean, aiming for the Yari Samurai, not the Naginatas in the center. I think the Mogami here, Punish Nigel, bring up your bows here too to start shooting back. They're useless in this back line, kind of. Yeah, we'll skip ahead real briefly as there's just repositioning here. Good to send some Yaris after Cav here, and also got a few volleys off. I mean, this general only has 11 men left, so Like I said, I don't really think you should use your general this way. The 2 Yari Cav units were enough on that side already as is. You can see some of the Yaris getting hit. And they capturing this? No, looks like the Mogami controlled the farmhouse. I would get the workshop at least, because the extra armor is going to make all the missiles from the Anegakoji less effective. So at least capture the workshop. The sword dojo would be nice, but workshop would be the priority, especially with this army and all the spears and naginatas. It's kind of like capturing which Jojo. The key building you decide to capture is largely based off the army you bring. And here we have another charge, and this is just not really a great charge because they're all bunched up fighting one cav unit. They're probably going to win that since this is light cav, but again, not really the best charge there. Like I said, wedge formation isn't the most ideal when it comes to using cav, so refrain from using wedge formation. But here, I mean, the Mogami could certainly capture all 3 dojos and secure victory or start the timer ticking down. But the Anegakoji still have a good defensive position on this hill, so to speak. So it's going to be interesting to see how Punished Nigel plays it. But definitely advantage going to the Mogami here. And yeah, bringing this light cav out and trying to capture the sword dojo, that's pretty good. But get the workshop. Like, you got to get the workshop in this position. Capturing the workshop here is going to enable all your units to have more armor. It's going to give you the skirmish advantage, or at least make the bows of the Anegakoji, like their arrows, are going to have trouble piercing through the total amount of armor. Like, because these Yari Samurai only have 5 armor here, but if you're able to capture the workshop, it'll increase it to about like 7 or 8, I think. And yeah, there we go. This is good. Capturing both the dojos here. This is exactly what Punished Nigel should do. And there you go. You can hear the rapid advances being called. So there's definitely a charge by the Anegakoji here, which is not a wise charge. I mean, the Anegakoji don't need to charge this front line. They can instead contest these dojos if they truly wanted to. I mean, I know there's cav all over there, but still, just send 1 spear unit over to contest. But here we got some frontline action. As you can see, Yaris versus Yaris. Very much realistic Sengoku warfare here. No, like, katanas or everything for the secondary weapon, but yeah, you can see just more units rushing over here. You got some monks going towards this dojo here, but they're going to get hit by some arrows, and that's going to be really, really bad for them. And yeah, you got the light cav here for the Anegakoji, sort of trying to make a break for it. The cav from the Mogami chasing, but yeah, I could go for the general right now. Just go for the throat, or like put it all on black, so to speak. For all you people who play like roulette. But yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah, the light cav. Like, this is a decent hammer and anvil, but again, probably would have been better going for the bows as the general at that point. Your front line was sort of collapsing already. So it looks like the Mogami now have a very large advantage in this battle. Now they have the workshop and they have the sword dojo, so of course that 10-minute timer is ticking down, and the Anegakoji's life is on the clock, so to speak. Their tournament lives, and here we go. We got some Yari cav, and oh, they're gonna be rushing into bows. And here's like a desperate final last charge here from the Anegakoji. We'll get into the combat briefly, but just the final push maybe to secure any lasting hopes of victory. But you got the Yari cav into the bows over on this side. Got more Yari cav rushing over here, and here we go. Here's the main charge on this left flank of the Mogami here. You got the Nodachis. Let's see if these Nodachis can carry the day. They're going to have to get a lot of kills in order to win, but maybe they'll pull through. Who knows? It's a pretty solid concentrated force over here. You got even the Bow Warrior monks getting involved right in the center of it. They might pull back though. You got Nodachis over here getting it surrounded, but their bonsai, keeps them fighting on. You can see 1 Nodachi against 6 Yaris or 7 Yaris over here. They're still fighting on. Shame for displays are being called out now as we speak for the Anegakoji, and for the Mogami. He's also losing some troops, but yeah, on this far side, the cav somewhat routing these bows over here, although the bows are going to stick in melee. Like, that's when you charge the general or you cycle charge. But over here, it just looks like the Anegakoji are just overwhelmed by numbers. You got all these Nodachis and these Yaris. They're breaking, they're routing. They're fleeing from the battlefield. They're running from the battlefield. A shameful display. You can hear in the background slightly, kind of. A shameful display indeed. And yeah, there's all this cav here. And of course, like, once all these troops are out, those bows are getting out, and all you have left is the general. It looks like Punished Nigel and the Mogami are going to secure victory in this third battle. An overwhelming victory at that, with a lot of units remaining. Still, the Anegakoji put up a good fight in a desperate last charge attempt. But yeah, the general being overwhelmed by all this cav, and it looks like Punished Nigel is going to advance to the second round of the losers bracket. So congratulations to Punished Nigel, and of course, it pains me to say, but the Anegakoji have been eliminated from the tournament. So good on your run, TH. Hopefully you continue your Shogun 2 multiplayer journey. It was excellent watching your battles and providing commentary. Really, really thank you for participating in the tournament. Anyways, you guys, that's all I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed the tournament coverage. I'll be back soon. We're going to kick things off next with the semifinal match and then go on to the winners finals match. So be sure to turn on those notifications and subscribe for those future tournament videos. Thank you all again so much. Take care.